Today's camera may include built-in spotlights and sirens, but in my opinion, it's not a real effective deterrent against intruders. So the intention of this project is to modify an inexpensive smart switch to operate not only as a normal light controller, but also as an eye catcher flasher. By using several smart switches, we may create a sequence of what is called scenes by turning on several lamps, including the flasher light. That scenario will represent a better intrusion deterrent for those included within the camera. So the objective of this project is to modify and the smart switch to activate the flasher on the final stage. I have other videos where I show how to add an external relay to control an external spotlight without modifying or opening the camera, which avoids any warranty issues. You may use any camera which includes a relay output or even a recorder with built-in relays. Here we have this is a smart switch. It's very inexpensive, less than $5. And basically the idea of these smart switches is that you may connect it in any switch that you may have at your home. It's basically it has an input for voltage and neutral, and an output of voltage and neutral to the load, in this case a lamp, but also it has an input for the switch, which is connected directly to this part, and it will be included inside a junction box. The whole idea is, since we have a camera that we modified, in the case of one I presented in a video, is it includes a switch which when the camera detects motion, it will activate the relay, and that's when the detection occurs. You may connect that signal directly to this switch. Here it says S1, S2. That's normally open, where you close and you activate the switch. This switch, as I mentioned, input voltage, it will output the voltage to the signal, but in the one I'll be using at the camera side is only for transmitting the detection of the camera to other switches that I may have included in the network of my home, my resident. So since this works with 120 volts in my country, so since I also included how to add an external lamp, a 120 lamp, a 100-watt lamps, you extract the voltage just to operate this smart switch. And as the detection on the camera, the ones I'm using is Dauha with the IBS smart detection, and it will, when it detects motion of humans or vehicles, in that case, it will send the signal, and that signal, since it will close a circuit here, it will then send the motion, the detection, smart detection actually, by, in case of Dauha, IBS, the tripwire or intrusion. It will be received by different switches that you may have in your home. And let's create a scenario where I include one in the kitchen, for example, where I have a glass window where the intruder will see that I turn on a light in the kitchen. Let's say after you may add a delay. Let's say 5 seconds after the detection, and then the lamp will turn on. Since you create already a scene in the transmitter, let's say this is the one in the camera section, near the camera section, That scene will include several switches, of course, two or more switches. I will include, let's say, three switches for this example. The first one in the kitchen will turn on, and in the scene or that programming that you do in the transmitter, the kitchen turn on, and after 15, my example, I normally use 15 seconds. After 15 more seconds, then I turn on the switch at the, let's say, at the hallway, or you may, if it's in the outside, let's say the terrace, because remember the back patio receive an intruder, or at least the signal for an intrusion, and you turn on the kitchen. Then after 15 seconds, I turn on the terrace, and after 10 or 15 more seconds, I finally turn on the one in the, let's say, the gazebo. Okay. This switch, you don't need to modify the one in the camera, and you don't need to modify the one in the kitchen, in the terrace, hallway, anyone that is only turning on with respect to the time. But in this case, normally these switches can be controlled either by turning on locally or by the app directly, or in the modification that I'm explaining of the camera. Either the camera or a recorder will switch this contact, and it will send the signal to the receiving end. Basically, as I mentioned, it's an input-output controlled by the switch or by the app. But in this case, as a final stage, it's this switch, smart switch. As you can see, I removed the relay, the one in the inside the smart switch, as you can see. And this switch is basically a single, it's called single pole, single throw, because the idea is when the switch is activated, it will pass the voltage, goes through the switch, and turn on the lamp. That's the basic purpose of a smart switch. But in this case, I removed the relay to include two relays. Actually, it's a single, now it will be a single pole double throw. By double throw, it means that it has a normally closed output and a normally open output. So when the relay is not energized, it will be at the normally closed, and when energized, that means that the switch is activated. It will switch to the normally open, which now will become closed, and the one that was closed initially will be open. You can see I have two relays. This one only has one, but the purpose is just for an explanation. Is because, as you can see, the when this switch is de-energized, no power to it, you may see that I use the normally closed output to go the voltage through this switch. That's why I can operate normally locally, and it will work fine. But the flasher, which is a separate circuit, is disconnected. So when the detection occurs, and as I mentioned, I want to have a deterrent using a light sequence that it will, the intruder will notice that you may see it when it cross the or enter your back patio, for example. So in that sense, when the detection comes into this switch, because remember it was transmitted from the one I have in the near the camera, at the end of it, it will then turn on. When it's turned on, like for example, I may even have the lamp turned on or off, it doesn't matter. It will switch from these lines, the line relay, it will switch to the open side. The normally open then will close, and it will pass voltage to the flasher. As you can see, let's do a demonstration. I only let it flash for 10 seconds, but normally you keep it for a couple of minutes, let's say 1 or 2 minutes. And that's when the normal, as I mentioned, the normally open now is close to have power. It will disconnect. The other relay is for the neutral, so it will disconnect the voltage, the return, the neutral, the returning pathway through the circuit of the lamp, and it will pass through the circuit of the flasher, and it will go then and complete the pass of the signal, the current in this case. I'm using for that the triac diac as a flasher. This second circuit is actually using a combination of rectifier, a triac, a diac, and a resistor, RC, resistor and capacitor, to do cut the cycle in half. In that sense, it will flash, and you may change the value of the RC, the resistor and the capacitor, to have a different timing. So basically, since all of this circuit need to be included inside the junction box, it's better to change the relay for this one. This is a dual, it was what is called dual pole and dual throw. So that means it has like two circuit or two relays. In this case, both of the relays, the coil is connected in parallel, so it will activate both at the same time. But if you replace it with this one, you will have the same, and you will have two separate circuits that is needed for this circuit to work. But not only basically for space saving, is because everything needs to be included, as I mentioned, inside this and this, plus the flasher inside the junction box. So only for the purpose of the explanation, that's why I use separate ones. Or if you have space, you may use it as well. No problem with that. So basically, that's the way it works. But I have another. Let me present something that it's important. You may use this as if you want to connect a siren instead of a flasher. You may use it. I don't recommend it for residential areas, but maybe let's say you have a client or customer that has a warehouse and need to have a siren in a warehouse, in commercial area. No problem with the noise. Of course, you need to comply with the time that it will need to be for causing noise pollution. Normally it's 3 or 4 minutes, no more than that. But since you have a smart switch, you may connect it to the time, to limit the time. It has a timer, so it only will be output for 2 or 3 minutes, or the time that you decided. Instead of the flasher, you may connect, that's why I have this voltmeter connected to the output between the lamp and the output of the relay in the normally open contact. So it's like taking out the flasher. It's because you may connect a siren instead of the flasher. And when that happens, let's say your property is connected to a lamp or spot lamp that normally spaces on the warehouses. They have a spotlight 100, 200 watts. You can see when I'm using the lamp, it's only 6 volts AC. But now when I turn on the flasher, it changed to 120. So that means that I can connect between the line of the lamp and the normally open of the relay on neutral. I may connect a siren, a commercial siren with 120, and it will activate as well to notify even if there are guards, or besides you will receive a notification on the cell phone. But it's also another application that you may use for this demonstration that I'm doing. You just need to comply with the what is called the amps, how many amps would that contact will tolerate. Normally this is 10 to 15 amps. So you, besides the use of the relay with the contacts, the maximum amps, also maintain the same gauge of the cabling that you'll be using into these relays or contacts. It's very important. Another application that you may use the flasher in this case is for those hearing impaired that, let's say that you need to have a let's say a doorbell, and you want to since you have hearing impairment, and you want to notify the person that someone is at the front door, you may use the same application. Or even if they have a camera as well, the flashing, you may be using the lamp, no problem. When the camera or the door station, in this case for the explanation, activates, it will do a flashing. So the person will notice that someone is at the front door, or the camera was an intruder just passed by or was detected by the camera. It's important to notice that all the electronics will be included inside a junction box. In my country, most construction are in cement, and you need to include everything back inside a single gang, in which the box is in metal. So depending on the space available, you may need to add even a single GAN extension for space, more space. Also, avoid using a metal faceplate in front. Better use, in this case for this demonstration, use plastic, because it's better for the Wi-Fi penetration. Remember, this is a Wi-Fi receptor, so you need to at least consider that it will be inside a junction box, usually metal, some are on plastic, but make sure you have a strong Wi-Fi signal. If you need more information regarding the values or the connection for each component, please let me know. Thanks.